Hello, everyone. Welcome to Change the Shed. It's April 30, last day of April 2025. Glad you're here. Welcome to my studio in Southern Colorado. Happy you're all here from everywhere. I know some of you see some ads at the beginning, and I can't do anything about that on the live stream, so I'll just welcome you for a moment, and then we'll do some weaving. Patricia's here working on some weaving. Karen from Massachusetts, new design. Corrine from the UK, glad it's sunny there. Patricia from Washington. Hilly from the Netherlands. Betsy from Kansas City, working on a wedge weave. Have fun with that, Betsy. Verle from Belgium, welcome. Trying out a new Merrick's Chloe loom. That's fun. Barbara from San Diego working on Tapestry Discovery Box 10, which is about color harmony. Margaret's here from Scotland, where they're also having fantastic weather. That's good news. Margareta from Sweden. Nancy from Conifer, Colorado, which I used to drive through all the time when I lived in northern Colorado. It's beautiful in Conifer. Working on Tapestry Discovery Box 10. Nan is waiting for her new Eris loom to arrive from Woodstock, New York. Dave's here from the UK. Mary's here from southern Wisconsin working on the Tapestry Discovery Box 10. Barbara. Oh, good. Barbara said she didn't see an ad today. I don't know what triggers them or doesn't. It's all YouTube. Susan is here from Kansas. Marlena is still in Iceland. Oh, she said she had a lovely residency. I imagine it's time to go home. Sorry, Marlena. Beautiful spring day in Massachusetts from Renee, working on the Tapestry Discovery Box and color gradation techniques. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. I'm working on the It's Fine tapestry again, of course. Eventually, I will show you probably some other things on Change the Shed, but for the moment, this particular piece has been fun to weave. So the next Change the Shed will be on May 14, which is, I think, 2 weeks. And if you're interested in joining Summer of Tapestry, it's the class I do every summer. This will be the 22, 23, 24, the fourth year. I started it in 2022. It's a lot of fun. It's about doing sketch tapestry and just weaving small, simple things in a community. It's a great class. So now's the time to join in May. The first warm-up prompt starts May 12th, and then the first thing we're going to work on starts the very end of May. So tell your friends. It's a fun thing to do with friends. Get some of your friends to join. And if you're looking for a discount on that class, if you are a subscriber to Long Thread Media, if you poke around a little bit, there's an ad in the last Little Looms magazine, or they have more information on their website. You will find a discount code. So that is one way to get a 10% discount if you have access to Long Thread Media's stuff. The ad was in Little Looms Summer, which came out a few weeks ago. Sally's here from southern Wisconsin. Hooray! And Patreon. Thank you to everybody who has supported me on Patreon. I appreciate it so much. This program would not be here if it weren't for you. So those of you who don't support me on Patreon, it's fine. Not everybody can do that, but you owe thanks to the people who do. I hope you enjoy the extra behind the scenes stuff that I do put on Patreon. You can join for free, and that's where you'll see the show notes for these Change the Shed episodes. I do put Change the Shed behind the scenes and all of that kind of stuff. Most of it you have to at least join at the lowest tier to see, but not everything. Sometimes I just throw things in for fun. So feel free to join at any point. Leslie's here from Calgary. Marla survived. I saw some pictures of hail in Kansas that was pretty crazy, so I'm glad. Yay, spring. We usually get hail too, so I'm waiting for it. Judith from Florida just finished the last prompt of Summer of Tapestry 2024. Perfect timing, Judith. You ready for the next one? Yeah, Jessica says the weather's crazy in Southern Illinois. So yes, this is spring, right? We don't know if it's gonna snow or be 90 degrees. We get that here too. Gudrun is here from Iceland. Fantastic. Welcome everybody. Let's do some weaving. I am going to work on the It's Fine tapestry again. I have the camera set so you can see the part I'm going to work on today. So here is what the whole thing is looking like right now. I know you can't see my pointer if I zoom. It doesn't, yeah. The area on the left is some clouds, and those I am working up to. And then there's this little shoe that is, I'm weaving from the side. So if it looks really weird, that's because it's sideways. And oh, actually, I probably have, here's a picture of the whole cartoon. Let's just see. So I'm doing this little shoe here on the right, and we'll start putting in some of the double set things around that shoe today. I think that will be fun. So, Jarka says that the cold north of Canada is snowed under right now. So we have everything from hot to snow. Mary, welcome from Northern Virginia, working on color harmony. And Ksenia is here from rainy Spain. Awesome. All right, here is the It's Fine tapestry. And so you'll see this is the area on the left. And you've got, actually, I am going to leave that over here because I might work on these clouds a little bit. I'm working on this little cloud part. Let me show you the cartoon one more time. So again, it's woven sideways. Oh, you can't actually see it in this cartoon. Let me get rid of this. There's a cloud down at the very bottom of the thing is what you see on the left side of my weaving. And then we'll get into this toe of this shoe at least a little bit. I don't know that I'll get to the laces today. We'll see. I have not worked out exactly how I'm going to do those laces. So here we are. This is ending. This is the sort of dirt behind the shoe. And then there is an area of like a road that comes around, and the foot is on top of this road, which I'm doing. I think I'm going to like this. Okay. It's with a mixed bundle, sort of like gravel, I guess. And we can, so this is going to be a slit. So there's a frame, there's like a center portion of this piece where there's about 10 inches in the middle, and then this frame around the edge that has the blue in the clouds, blue violet. All right. Let me show you on these pants first, the double set, and then we'll start the toe of this boot. But this is the bottom of the pants that this person is wearing. And then there's a little bit of a leg in there, which we might get to today. Probably won't get to this sock, but that'll be the trickiest part of the whole tapestry, actually. All right, so I have this loom. This is the Shacked Heiress loom, and I have it warped at 8 ends per inch with a double set. So I only have one shedding device on here. It is possible to put two, but only one of the sheds really work. Just the physics of it. And I found the last time I did that I ended up just picking the 16 EPI shed anyway. So you could also, if you had a piece that you had a lot of the finer set, you could put the heddles on for the finer set, which is harder, you know, to pick, and then pick the other one. But this piece has far more 8 EPI in it than 16. So let's see. I think I'm going to need one more wrap on this. So this is a little cuff on the pant. And we talked about, I think last time, various ways I could do this. And who knows whether I will love this or not, but this is what I'm doing. This is Weaver's Bazaar. The fine is 2 strands of fine Weaver's Bazaar. It's this, I don't know what color it is, one of their yellows. Sometimes I only use 1 strand of Weaver's Bazaar at 16, but it weaves, turns out it weaves a lot faster if you use 2. And it seems to be covering just fine. So you could use 1 strand of Weaver's Bazaar medium. I'm using Weaver's Bazaar for this because I like how shiny it is, how it's a worsted spun wool that's very tightly spun. It's kind of shiny. I don't know if shiny is quite the right word, but let's try splitting this. Putting this to the back. All right. We'll see if that works. Now we'll take it out. Let's see, that's a valley thread. I'm going to put one more on there. Nancy said they had snow yesterday in Conifer, Colorado. It does not surprise me. April can be a snowy time in Colorado, especially if you're up at almost 9,000 feet. Conifer's high. Karen's here from Texas. Davina's here from right down the road. Yay! Jessica's working on a bag on the box. That's a Sarah Sweat thing. Actually, if you are interested in that project, Sarah has here I go, talking about Sarah Sweat. She's just one of my favorite people, and she has some guides. Oh, I think her website might be down right now. Anyway, when it comes back, she has these printed guides, and one of them is for bag on a box. It's got instructions of, they're just PDF patterns, basically, but they're all hand-drawn, and they're wonderful. And they're not expensive at all. And she's got several of them. I think one of them is about backstrap weaving. Okay, so this is how the 16 EPI works. And you probably can't see most of it because I keep putting my hands in the way. Let's see. This should have gone under here. Also, it's a lot harder to see the 16 EPI than the 8. I don't know how people, I mean, I do know you just get used to being able to see it, but like Kathy Todd Hooker's a master of small sets, and she's done stuff at, I mean, I think like a normal set for her is like 22 ends per inch or something. That's how she gets all that detail. I think she's woven with even finer with sewing thread. So yeah, Michelle, that's a great thing. So Michelle's talking about, she's doing a double set tapestry on her copper pipe loom. I don't think it has to do with the loom. I'll just say that to start with. using a double warp and switching to a single warp for some areas. Some of the warp shows by the valley thread at the transition from double to single. Yes, that is a problem with this. Doing this, when you're changing the set, there is a shedding problem when you go from 16 to 8 or whatever your two sets are. And the way I get around that is by using the yarns I'm using. This is Harrisville Kohler singles that I've dyed, and it is very fluffy. And so there are areas here where normally you would see the little bits of lice, and you don't see them because this is such a fluffy yarn, it's covering that up. So I don't have a great suggestion for that except to think about the materials, and maybe you need a line of sumac around the form that's smaller or something like that. You could think about doing something like that just to provide a little cover for the shedding problem that will happen when you do this. This double set stuff is a lot of fun. There's some fabulous examples out there. People who do this. I always think of Jennifer Sargent because her work is so gorgeous. I would look up her website if you've never seen it. She has some just gorgeous tapestries, and she uses materials in really interesting ways, and she does a lot of double set where she goes back and forth. Mary Lane has done some double set stuff. I'm not going to think of all the people right now, but there are plenty of people who have played with it. Okay, here's the edge of this. Yeah, it's not you, Michelle. I think what you're saying, what I'm saying about the sumac, or what you're saying about needling a single strand over the area is fine. I don't think, if it's really showing, then you have to do something to, I mean, if it bothers you, you'll have to do something to hide it. So, okay. Yeah. After all my dithering about those pants, who knows? It looks a little different to me because the camera is at such a steep angle. It looks really slanty here. I'll have to take a picture. Maybe I'll put it on the show notes, the Patreon show notes, so that you can see what it looks like to me. Let's just start this little, I think this is what this color is. Yeah, I wrote leg on it. There's just a little tiny triangle right there, and I'm going to just get the color out and start it so at least I'm in the ballpark. For future me, let's see. I want to look at the cartoon again, and let's look at it on the screen. So the leg is this tiny, oh, you can't see my cursor. You can see where the pant cuff I just wove was, and I see that in the cartoon the cuff comes out a little farther. I could do that. Anyway, the leg is I've sort of dotted it on weirdly, so I just wanted to get a look at how that is going to work. The leg is right in here, and let's get the shedding correct. That, and oh, I had it in the wrong spot. Here we go. This may not show much, but I think that's okay. The sock that comes right below it will be bright, and I don't think it matters that much that this leg color is similar to the value of the pants. Now, am I doing is my shedding right? Hold on. Okay. Yeah. I just don't want to see because these are both 16 ends per inch areas. I don't want to see lice between those. And let's go here. This is, I don't know what the name of this color is. It's Terracotta 1. It's actually a form of orange, I think. Nan says it's a very white leg. Do you want me to pull up my pants and show you my legs? They're the same color as my neck. I think it's pretty accurate. Let's see. Yeah. Well, it is pretty white. We'll see. I just wanted to get this started. And it could be that a darker color would be. This doesn't necessarily have to be me either. It could be, could use a different skin tone. Let's also start the 16 EPI on the toe of the boot. Welcome. I don't know how, Sadie, I don't know how to say your name, but I'm glad you're here from South Africa. New Tapestry Weaver, Curious White 8, EPI, and 16. So this is a whole thing. You're welcome to go back and watch the other episodes of this, but I'm doing a double set piece, which means I can get more detail in some areas of the tapestry. Like this is a little shoe, so I'm going to weave that at 16 ends per inch. What am I looking for? The boot colors. So remember these here, you can see them in my Facebook picture. These were the little cards I made to remind me which colors go where. And the boot is here. And it looks like I don't have a decision on the boot laces, but the toe of the boot is dark. So let's find that. Looks like this color. And I even wrote on that. Let's get that started. All right. So this particular, the Eris loom, I'm using it. You can't see it obviously in the thing, but it's on the treadle. It has the stand and treadles, which is a new toy for me, and I love it. Because I can shift the shed so fast like this with my hands off. And it's quiet. It's a manual treadle. Really fantastic. No, welcome, Sadie. Thank you for your questions. Watch some of the other ones and then come back in a couple of weeks and ask more questions. I'm going to actually do an eccentric thing right here. I can honestly say I don't think I've had many weavers from South Africa. I'm sure there are some, but I find that people in hotter, I'm actually going to do a whole sequence eccentrically. In hotter places where there's sheep in New Zealand, but anyway, there's not as much tapestry weaving in places that are warmer. It's just a theory. I don't actually know if that's true. I'm sure there are many other reasons that tapestry has flourished in some places. Probably has to do with colonialism and the British. Love you, Brits. Thanks for giving us tapestry. And the French, of course. All right, let's fill this in now. I'm clearly not a historian, so my apologies for all of those things that I just got wrong there. Please don't be offended. So can you see this? Yeah. All right, so I wanted to make the toe, I wanted the boot part lighter, but I wanted it to be differentiated from this background color. So that's why I'm making the toe so dark so that it stands out against the next color. The history of tapestry is quite fascinating. And of course, there has been tapestry woven all over the world. It's not just a European tradition. It has been done in pretty much many, many cultures in the world over a great amount of time. This is sort of European-based tapestry that I teach and practice, but it has a lot of influence from the New Mexico weavers among whom I live and grew up with and learned from. Yeah, no schools in South Africa, 2 guilds in total and no schools. We don't have schools here either for tapestry. There are places that teach weaving, but there are no longer any tapestry schools. There are a few in, I think there's a couple, at least one in England and, or is it Scotland? England. And there are places in France you can learn, but, oh yeah. And also in South Africa, they don't have any thin threads. So yes, and I don't know where, I don't know if it's easier to get stuff from Australia if you're in South Africa, but the Australian Tapestry Workshop yarn is lovely. I realize that Australia is still a long ways away, but I keep putting, I don't know if you've seen that, I keep putting little bits in the middle. I'm trying to get the curve to make sure it comes up, and so sometimes just adding a little extra right here in the center to make sure that happens. Wasawasif in Egypt. That's great. That's true, Nan. That's a wonderful studio. Currently making large-scale, beautiful tapestries. And that is in a place that is very warm. So that is a great example. You see one little bit of lace there at the bottom. See that? Yeah. So that will be something I will look at in the finishing. If I can still see it, I will cheat and cover that with, like we were talking earlier, with a little piece of yarn. That is just because the set is changing, and that's what happens when your set is wrong. If you have questions about shedding problems, I didn't mean when your set is wrong, when your shedding is wrong. I am running the Fixing Your Sheds class again live in June for those of you who have been waiting for me to do that. That is a great way to figure out how to fix your sheds. Okay, this brown toe is coming right along. Welcome, Paula from the UK. And the other thing I haven't decided is how to do the sole of this boot. Can you see? Let's see if you can see the cartoon. See how there actually is a separate sole there? Not something I really thought about, but probably it should be a different color than the rest of it. So that is something I'm going to have to figure out. All right. What time is it? 11. I don't think I'm going to get to the top part of this today. These are two different colors I'm hatching for the background. I need to fill that in, of course, before I can weave the rest of the shoe. Laura, do you mean the slit right here, Laura? Along the toe? It is leaving a slit. It's probably short enough I won't try to stitch it. Stitching 16 EPI and 8 EPI is possible, but it's not the easiest thing. All right. Use those later. I'm going to tuck these to the back. So now I'm ready to fill that in when I get there. And now I'm feeling like I don't like Nana's right, and this leg is going to be too white. So I'm going to have to search out a different color for this. Nan, do you mean a class on double set? Is that what you're talking about? I think that's what you mean by 8/16. So this slit I will definitely sew, Laura. That's easy because it's, and these I'm sewing all of these. Actually, wanted to sew this before I turned on the camera, but we can stitch that right now. Yes, double set. Yes, I have been thinking about that, Nan, actually. So a short class would be great. I don't think it will be a Tapestry Discovery box. I don't know that for sure, but I'm fairly certain I will do it in a different way. So yes, I've been thinking about that as I've been working on this. So great minds think alike, right? It would just be a short regular online class. The white part is not the sock, Barbara. See? See, Nana's right that's so white. No, I'm going to have to find a bit of a browner color for that. The sock starts about right there, and it's blue. I could make the sock come all the way up, actually. That would be another way to fix that, is just to start the sock right under the pants. That might be the answer. I could get rid of that altogether. Often when you have limitations in materials, you can change the design to accommodate for that. Sorry, you probably can't even see what I'm doing with this slit sewing. But I do sew my slits as I go along. And keeping this narrow thing nice and even can be kind of tricky, but so far so good. And then we have these clouds. This had like 2 layers, and I've ended that one. So now this will be easy just to finish that cloud up. No, Marla. twisting my bundles doesn't give it. If you're correct, Marla's asking, I always twist my bundles. Does that ever make your finished piece have a slant to it? No, because I am basically plying it. So I'm twisting it in the opposite direction. The spin of the original yarn, when you ply, you twist in the opposite direction of the spin. So the yarn should be fairly balanced. Let's bring that over. It is true that if you've ever used a yarn like Lamb's Pride, which is a fat single, that can actually, your tapestry can actually bias a little bit because all the energy is going in one direction. So, but I've never had that happen with these Kohler singles. Even when I don't twist them, this yarn has been made so long ago, it doesn't have any energy in it anymore. It is possible. I saw someone sent me, this is not actually a student, but I was interested enough in the question that I answered her, sent me an email about some hand spun she had used for tapestry, and all of the pieces were real narrow and they were all flipping up at the corner. And I am almost positive that that is because it was hand spun singles, and the just using that yarn alone on such a narrow piece meant that it was creating that curl. All right. These little clouds have been fun to weave. These are woven with faro, and just at the edge of where I would stitch that slit, and I think I'm going to leave it. The white is thinner, is what I was going to say, by quite a lot than this is natural. So the way they make this natural yarn is, it's undyed, which for whatever reason means that it is actually a lot thicker than the white. So that's okay. You can use yarns that are different thicknesses. You just need to understand what happens when you do that. And in this case, with the white, it means I have to put in some extra sequences now and then. Got a bit of VM or something left. Even after all the processing, sheep come from wild places and they get weeds in them. I'm gonna actually put an extra white in there. I'm just gonna do that. I use the faro or faru for the clouds because they have a bleached white, and the Harrisville color singles that I use for everything else here, which I dye myself, they don't make a bleached white, and I don't want to mess with however you bleach yarn. And the faro is really beautiful yarn. Plus, I really like the natural colors, which also I can't get from Harrisville. So I do use Harrisville for most of my personal tapestry work. But in this case, I needed something a little different. All right. That cloud is coming right along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I put an extra one in there. 3. Marissa, I am working from the front. Welcome from Colorado. Oh, this is a tapestry bobbin. Great question. This is, I love these metal pointed tapestry bobbins. These are made by Melissa Ellison Dewey in the United States. This kind of tool is very common in tapestry. You can probably get some from the Australian Tapestry Workshop, or, you know, have them sourced from the US or the UK, but they, if you don't have a tapestry weaving tradition in South Africa, you probably are not going to find these. Let's just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I need that white. Here it is. This Faro yarn, which is now made by Borg's, went out of business, but it is made by Clip-In, has, I think it has some spell sow in it, which is a long wool sheep, and those of you who are spinners will know more about it than me, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I know the Freed yarn from Norway does, and that is another beautiful yarn. I'm going to do a sort of partial splice. Just to help hold these tails in. Yeah, so join me for Summer of Tapestry. It's my favorite class to teach, so it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of community. It's learning to simplify and weave quick, easy things. It is, I think it's a fun class. I'm sure many of you have taken it. And it's different every year, so we just keep doing it every year. And then the other class that just opened was the Tapestry Discovery Box, which this month is on color harmony. So if you're interested in some color theory work, that would be a great one to join. The Discovery Box also has a lot of community interaction. It's a lot of fun. There's some live things that we do and all of that. Yes, so Marissa said, I think Merrick sells all wood tapestry bobbins. So you want to think about the size. What are you weaving? This is about, let's see, I have a ruler. This is about a 5-inch bobbin. For something that's small, this is what I want. I actually have ones that Melissa makes me that are even skinnier than this one for weaving on the kind of looms I use in summer tapestry. If you're weaving a great big tapestry on a big upright floor loom, I don't have any right at hand, but you can get those monster 8-inch tapestry bobbins. Schacht used to sell them. You can get them in Europe. So make sure that you think about what you're weaving. Don't try to use really big tapestry bobbins. Hold on. Don't try to use this on a tapestry like the one I'm weaving right now, because it's too big to go through the shed well. Here's a comparison of the tiny skinny, and I use smaller ones than this. So match the tool to what you're doing is my advice on that. And yes, tapestry bobbins are hard to find. On my website under resources, look under FAQ, under resources, there are links to people that make bobbins and all kinds of other tools. But if you wanted some of Melissa's bobbins, there's a link to how to get a hold of her. Artisan Bobbins, thank you, Margaret. If you're in the UK or Europe, or you can order things from the UK, Artisan Bobbins is beautiful. Andrew Dickinson owns that, and he makes gorgeous bobbins of all shapes and sizes. So I think most of them are bigger, but if you're weaving, larger pieces, then that's really useful. If you're weaving tiny, tiny things, you really hardly need a bobbin at all. So I hope that makes some sense. Join me for a beginning tapestry class, and we'll talk about all of it. Awesome. It's been great to see you guys. I'll be back on, what did I say? May 14. And I will have many things on Patreon in the meantime. I'm also working on a new rock mini for those of you at the tiers 2 or 3 on Patreon. And the loom behind me is still empty, unfortunately, but hopefully I am doing the rock mini as a sample for the next piece that's going on here. So you'll see that whole process too. Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's always good to catch up with those of you. I know some of you don't have YouTube channels and you're watching, but you can't comment. So feel free to reach out on Patreon or some other way in your online classes, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. All right, I'll see you in a couple weeks for the next Change the Shed. Otherwise, I'll see you on Patreon or somewhere else in the tapestry weaving world. Be well and stay safe from all the things. All right, everybody. Thanks. See you later.